Okay, we're going to create the wheel for our train, and so we're going to actually draw this shape right here. This is the shape sectional cut view. A piece has been cut off of this wheel, and if we draw this shape with an axis right here, then we can rotate the wheel around with a revolve, and then we can add the other things to it later. But for now, we're just going to make this shape. So I'm going to make this on the top plane. So I'm going to go into Inventor, and I'm going to choose my origin, and I'm going to choose the XZ plane as my origin. So I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to rotate it so that the top is aiming straight up. And I'm going to draw my wheel off to the side here and use this line as the axis. So I'm going to start off with my line tool, and looking at this picture, there's a line that goes all the way across here. And it doesn't tell us exactly where everything goes, but it does tell us enough. We know that this line is 1 inch from the center point here to the center of our axis. And so if we start out making an axis, I'm just going to draw where my axis is, then I can make a point out here where my middle, or where everything's going to rotate around. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Inventor. I'm going to draw my axis line. So there's my axis. And I'm going to draw a point out here where that point is. Okay, so that point is this point right here, and it is 1 inch away from the axis. So I'm going to dimension this point to the axis as 1 inch. Okay, now this line is pretty big, so I'm going to zoom in so that we can see what we're doing here. Alright, so around this point there is a circle. In the circle, the diameter of the circle is 0.25. That's how big this circle right here is. So I'm going to make a 0.25 circle around this point right here. So I'm going to grab my circle, click right on the center point, and I'm going to just type 0.25, enter, and that's going to be the rounded part of the circle. I'm going to go to my drawing again, and I'm going to make the line go all the way down to here, and I'm just going to kind of make this basic shape. Okay, I'm kind of guessing at it. I'm going to dimension everything later. So I'm going to make this basic shape minus the fillets, because we're going to fillet it later. So I'm just going to look at what the image looks like and then draw it. So I'm going to grab my line tool, lock onto the top of my circle, bring it out towards the line here, click, bring it down, around, up, across to here, down again, and I'm going to meet up with circle again. Okay, now we can start dimensioning everything to itself. I'm going to trim off this part of the circle because we don't need it anymore. Okay, so let's look at some of the other dimensions that we have. We've got the dimension from here to the center point is 0.25. Okay, so from the axis to this line right here is 0.25, so I'm going to change that. Dimension from the line to this place right here, 0.25. Okay, and in order to find the distance between this point and the edge, I'm going to look at the other part of this picture. The diameter of this circle, which is this circle right here, the diameter is 0.28, so I have to do half of 0.28 because that's the diameter symbol right there. So I want the radius. The radius is going to be the distance here. So I'm going to go back to Inventor, and I'm going to dimension from here to here. This is my axis, and this is going to be 0.28 divided by 2. Okay. Now it's okay that my line moved off of the axis, if you've noticed, because I'm still going to use this as my revolve point. I don't really need this as an axis anymore, so that's just fine. Okay, now I need to fillet all these corners, so let's look at our drawing. The corners are all going to be radius 0.063, so this corner, this corner, this corner, and this corner are all 0.063. So back to Inventor, go to my fillet, and I'm going to make this 0.063. and I'm going to come in and fill at all these corners 0.063. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now let's go down to our picture again and see if we've missed anything. Oh, we do have something here that we need. We need the distance between the axis and this line right here. That's 0.75. We haven't put that one in, so I'm going to make it 0.75. Dimension from here, my axis, 0.75. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Let's make sure that we're getting everything. We've gotten 0.25. We have the distance from here to here is 0.125, which is half of 0.25, so there we go. We've done this dimension, and this dimension. We have the radius. So it looks like we've got everything that we need. So I'm going to go back to Inventor. Everything's been dimensioned as it should. I'm going to go to Finish Sketch, go to my Home View, and I'm going to revolve this with the axis being our drawn axis right here. And there is our wheel so far. I'm going to click OK, go to my front view, and there's my wheel facing me front and center. Alright, now we are going to make the spokes of our wheel. So in order to do the spokes, we're going to have to look at this picture right here. Okay, what this is telling me is that the spoke, the whole of the spoke, is 30 degrees from this line to this line. Okay, I also know that the inner circle, so this inner circle right here that makes up the spoke, if I follow the radius line out, it says radius 0.37. The outer ring is 0.63. So the first thing I'm going to do is make two circles starting from the center. One of them is going to be 0.63, one of them is going to be 0.37. So going back to Inventor, I'm going to make a sketch on this face because that's where my spokes are going to go. Okay, and I'm going to make two circles. And the first circle is going to be 0.63. And 0.37. But I've made an error. The 0.63 is the radius, so I need to double both of those. So I'm going to dimension 0.63 times 2. Okay, so that's the outer one. And 0.37 times 2. There's the other one. Okay. Now I'm going to make the spoke lines. So as I said, the spoke lines are 30 degrees from each other. So I'm going to split that in two and do 15 and 15 because I want a line that goes straight up the middle. So I'm going to go back to Inventor, grab my line tool, I'm going to lock onto the center point and bring the line straight up. Then I'm going to grab my center again and I'm going to bring the line out to the side, and I'm going to make a third line going out to this side, locking onto that center point. Now I'm going to dimension between the center line and this line, and that's going to give me this angle, and I'm going to dimension from this line to the center line, and that's this angle. They're both about the same. What I want to have happen is have these be 15 degrees, so I'm going to change these to 15, both. And I'm going to dimension this point right here to the center, and I'm going to make it 0. That way it's lined up. Now everything's aligned. Now I'm just going to trim off this ring and this ring so that I have everything isolated here. At least this part. Maybe one more line for good measure. I'm just going to get rid of this line right here and this line right here so that this is all by itself. So I'm going to hit Finish Sketch, go to Extrude, I'm going to extrude this piece right here, and we're going to go all, and we've cut through our spoke, or we've created one hole for our spoke. So I'm going to click OK. And now we need to do a circular pattern. Let's see how many times this happens. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to do 6 as our circular pattern. Circle. I'm going to click on this extrusion right here, or I can hit it over here as well. And I'm going to do rotation axis, and I'm just going to choose the middle ring here. I can also choose these rings as well, and all of them will do the same thing. And 6 is our placement, just like we want. 6 is the default, so that's exactly how many we want. So I'm going to click OK. Go to the front view again. And I'm going to make the little peg thing now. So the little peg is right here. It is 0.7 inches away from the center. So I'm going to go to, oh, and the very outer ring is 0.25 diameter. So I'm going to make that one first. I'm going to go to Inventor, make a sketch right here because it's going to go on this face. I'm going to grab my circle tool, make sure it's in line with my center. 0.25 is going to be the diameter. The distance between the center of this and the center of my wheel, 0.7. Yep, everything's looking good so far. This extrudes up 0.25 also, so I'm going to make this extrude 0.25. And I'm going to go to Home View. That looks pretty good. Click OK. Now I'm going to make the other extrusion, so I'm going to click this circle, create a sketch, grab my circle, click and make a circle, but let's see how big it is. This one is 0.125, and it also extrudes 0.125. So 0.125, finish sketch, extrude this circle right here, 0.125. And I'm going to put a hole in this one. So I'm going to hit the face, create a sketch, one more circle. Let's see how big this hole is. The hole diameter is 0.0625 with a depth of 0.25. 0.0625, depth 0.25. So this one's going to be 0.0625. And we're going to cut extrude this. So we're going to go into the object, 0.25. And our wheel is now completed, ready to be put onto our train.